All right, big day today. What are we gonna wear? Let's see. I'm on the short stack. Probably not. That'd be a classy look. This doesn't feel. Oh, here we go. This seems like the play for today. I want to try to do more hand analysis than I did yesterday, but the problem is we only get 10 minutes, so have to kind of be quick with it. If we have any interesting hands to let you know. Other thing that's worth noting, we're down to like 60 blinds, so not really as much play, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can run it up. So we are 20 minutes prior to the kickoff here on day 2 at the Super High Roller Bowl. I was trying to do a little walk and talk earlier. The camera was pretty shaky, so I wanted to sit down and talk about a few things before we jump into it. For starters, as far as table draw goes, we're down to 7 tables. I feel pretty good about my table. There's a lot of players that I know. I feel like my seats to my direct right are, I believe, something along the lines of Scott Seiver, Jason Mercier, and Justin Bonomo. So I'm pretty happy to have all 3 of them on my right and not my left. Obviously, those guys are people that you prefer to get to go afterwards. And then to my left is Tony G, and also Lauren Roberts, as well as Bryn Kenny. So all in all, I'm pretty happy about the table. You know, obviously you want to be on Kevin Hart's table, because if you are on Kevin Hart's table, you get to be on the live stream, which is pretty sweet. But you know what? I've been losing a few flips on that front. It's all right. I won the important flip, Jacks versus King, yesterday. As far as, you know, how it feels to be here in day 2 of a, you know, $300,000 event, the structure is so slow that I feel like day 2 doesn't mean nearly as much. I mean, guys, like 80 or 75% of the field still left. Not exactly a huge deal to make day 2. If we make day 3, we'll be talking, because then we'll be getting close to the final table, and but we still won't be in the money, so we got a long ways to go. I'm also going to say that, sorry guys, I'm filming in here. You guys can go for it. It's fine. Sorry about that. Anyway, so, you know, obviously if we make day 3, we'll go from there. The thing is this, it's kind of whatever to even care about the days that much. At the end of the day, it's like, look, I got to win all the chips in this tournament, right? Day 1, I lost chips. Hard to win tournaments on days you lose chips. You kind of have to win some chips. So I think focusing on when the cash is, focusing on can I make whatever day, it's not really the best way of looking at it. You want to look at it like, I'm here to try and win as many chips as I can. I'm going to play well, and I'm going to go from there. And sometimes it's not your day, you know. The thing is, only, you know, 20% of this field cashes, or 15% of this field cashes. How many people cash? 7? Closer to like 12 or 13% of this field cashes. So you can't get hung up on what day is it, where am I at, where's everyone else at. Just play your game and go from there. I think people get too hung up on that. How many chips do you have? What's the average? All that stuff. Like, look, it's important to know. I'm not saying ignore it, but don't let it consume you. You know, don't let that be the thing that you're totally hung up on. If that becomes what you're focused on, you're going to put emotional weight on it. You're here to play your game, and then as it gets closer to the bubble, as it gets closer to the final table, worry about that down the road. Another person asked me why am I not using a higher quality camera. Look, man, like, first off, I don't have filming credentials here at the Super High Roller Bowl. And then second off, it's just not very convenient. I'm trying to play a 300K tournament. I'm going to have to use my phone for a little filming. I think as the summer goes on, we'll probably roll out some better equipment, and hopefully it'll increase the overall quality of the vlog. But look, like, our goal is going to be, and when I say our goal, I mean, you know, me and the channel, our goal is going to be to put out a more consistent vlog. See, you know, I'm not going to promise daily, but I want to try and do my best to get a vlog done every day. That's going to mean shorter vlogs, you know, more camera work, or more phone camera work. So just kind of bear with me. It'll be good stuff. I think it'll be a fun summer. We got a lot of big tournaments to play. 300K today, 1 drop next week, and then obviously a bunch of other stuff at the World Series of Poker as well, culminating in the World Series of Poker main event. Oh, and one last thing before I forget. Upswing Poker is going to be having a party at the Wynn. If you guys want to drop by and hang out, first 1,000 people are going to be free, but you have to be on the list. The list is in the link below. Anyone's welcome. If you're on that list and you're in the first 1,000 people, you're good. If we hit 1,000 people, every person after that's going to be $53. I know it's a weird number, is what it is. So if you guys want to stop by and hang out with the crew, make sure to be on that list in the description below. It's going to be at Surrender Nightclub. It's a night swim, and that's going to turn into the normal club hours. So should be fun. I'm going to be there. Fee's going to be there. Matt Coletta is going to be there. Upswing Matt, by the way, you guys have not emailed Matt at upswingpoker.com. He wants to hear from you, okay? He wants to be part of the family. So send him a message. Tell him I told you to send him an email. He always loves that. Anyway, the whole crew will be there. Should be a good time. Stop on by Surrender Nightclub. All right, let's go over and get in the action. Big level. We went from 240 up to 725, like almost a triple up, not quite, but almost there. We ran super card hot. We got, a couple of these kings, and then the big hand Scott Seiver opened under the gun around 300K. I covered him. So he opens under the gun at 9K. I 3-bet to 30K under the gun +1. He 4-bet small. I jam. Queen's no good. I have kings. Stack him. All right. About to do some stuff over here. Okay. Hey, how's it going, man? Yeah, short break. I wish I had more time. We'll talk more about it in the next break. Hopefully, we'll see what we can do. Got some chips. Just got knocked out ace-king against king-8 suited on pretty, but it was for not many blinds at all, like 7 blinds or something, so can't be too upset about that. But I did have a huge hand, and when I get back to the house, let's talk about it. It's going to be some real happy people about the way the queen 6 off was played here, but let's go ahead and talk about the hand. I think you guys are going to like it. Or hate it. I mean, honestly, there's going to be some angry people here. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the final big hand that I had on the day. So the action kicks off with Bill Klein opening it up in the cutoff to 14,000 at 3K, 6K. So about a 2.3x raise. Action folds to, actually it might have been the hijack. Hijack or cutoff. I forget if there was an empty seat or not. But anyway, hijack or cutoff open. And then Leon decides to call in the small blind. I look down in the big blind. Queen 6 off, obviously a hand that not too strong, but I feel like in the lineup of people playing this particular hand, I can get in there. So I decided to call as well. The flop comes 9-7-5 all clubs. Now I have around 500,000 to start this hand. Leon has over 1 million, and Bill Klein also has over 1 million. So these guys are probably like both near chip leading the event at the time of this hand. So I'm easily covered in both spots. I have around 500K. Now this is where the hand starts to get pretty weird. The flop goes 9-7-5 all clubs. We have queen 6 with the queen of clubs. Now Leon decides to lead out 15K into the pot here, and because the big blind's 6K with a 6K ante, we're looking at something like 1/3 pot roughly here on the flop. 15K into like 48K here on the flop. So a little under a third pot. And now I feel like this is like a kind of weird situation to be in the big blind with queen 6 with the queen of clubs. I kind of don't mind flatting or raising. I think that they're both legitimate options. One of the problems that I have with flatting is that I feel like I kind of open the door for Bill Klein to also be involved in the pot. Whereas if I raise, I think Bill is going to be put in a tough spot with like the majority of his holdings, unless he has something like an overpair with a club or a flush or a set. But those things are going to be pretty unlikely, particularly given that I do have the Queen of Clubs. Queen of Clubs not as relevant as a card like the Ace of Clubs, but still a pretty relevant card towards blocking flushes. Now, you might be like, well, Doug, what does Leon have? And that's a really good question. You know, Leon has been taking some pretty interesting lines across the board. You know, if you think that his lead is very polar, maybe you want to go for the call a little more frequently with a hand like Queen 6. But Leon's been definitely getting in the mix in some different spots, so I feel pretty solid about just to raise my hand. I'm also going to raise it up with some hands like flushes, maybe some sets occasionally as well. Yeah, maybe a straight. I feel like raising a straight in this spot in the two players isn't as good, especially because you're dead versus the flush. So definitely going to have a wide array of value bets here to go along with my Queen 6. Now, I raised to about 50K on the flop. Bill folds, and the action's back over to Leon, who calls. So he calls, and the turn is an offsuit queen. So I turn top pair. Now, at this point, Leon decides to go ahead and lead like 150K. And this is the point in the hand where I'm like, ugh. I feel like both of my options suck. I mean, raise is clearly off the table. So the question is, are we going to call or are we going to fold? And the thing is, let's say he has a hand like a set, right? We're still drawing at, you know, the straight or the flush. So we still have like pretty decent equity against the set. If he has a flush, you know, we're obviously only drawing on a club. And if he has like a really strong flush, we're obviously dead. But I'm not sure how frequently he's going to have those holdings, especially given kind of the way he's playing. So I think in retrospect, I think I made a mistake. I know you guys like to just be like, you know, Doug, every play that you make is always like, you know, amazing, and I don't really agree. You know, I'm still a human being. I still make mistakes. I think given the range of value bets that he's representing, I think actually folding the turn is somewhat reasonable. I don't think calling is like a huge mistake. It kind of depends on the way he's structuring his lead flop call lead this turn range. But I mean, he's repping a really weird hand here. He's basically, I mean, like, this is not a line that a regular is going to be taking, right? Because nothing gets there on the turn. There's no value bet here on the turn. The queen improves, right? I mean, like, he's basically saying, okay, I had a flush or a set, led flop, call it a raise, and now we get a brick turn, so I'm just going to lead again. So it's a weird spot, right? And I think that the main takeaway, I think you could argue for a call, but I think the main takeaway is, you know, where are we within our range? And, you know, we're going to have some other value bets, certainly a bunch of flushes and sets and stuff. So you kind of don't really have to call with this hand. And then we also will have occasionally the ace of clubs, right? So we have the nut flush draw. In general, it's much better to have the ace of clubs and be drawing towards a hand that could beat him rather than, you know, just a hand that if he has a strong flush, we're just dead. So I think I made a mistake. In retrospect, I would like a fold turn. I got a little too hung up, I think, on like what he was doing rather than just playing within my range. Anyway, I call. So the river comes an offsuit deuce, and he leads again for 200,000. And so it's, you know, I think I like a river call a little more than a turn call because, you know, I'm going to have hands like the nut flush draw here that brick and have to fold. And additionally, I think that not having the ace of clubs is important because you really want him to have a hand like ace jack or ace 10 with the ace of clubs decide to lead, you know, as a bluff. So, you know, I think even then, though, I think given that I'm not going to raise my value bets on the turn, I'm basically going to be just calling my whole range on the turn. I think that I can fold this hand and call with you know, some of the stronger value bets in my range. But I do think the river is a little bit closer than the turn. We basically have a really marginal hand across the board here. Pre-flop, flop, turn, river. But you know what, guys? Like sometimes you just gotta do what you think is right at the time, and then afterwards, decide whether you liked it or not. And I don't like it. Anyway, so eventually I decide, okay, I guess I'm gonna call here, given like the way this is a weird hand. I don't really see what he's representing. I will have some nut flush draws to fold, so I go ahead and make the call, and he has the aces for the maximum punishment. So yeah, trap pre, lead, call raise, lead brick turn, barrel, ace of hearts, ace of clubs, so nut flush draw as well. I mean, obviously a fairly poorly played aces, but you know what? Like that's the thing. I think sometimes, one thing that regulars, the mistake that they make is they end up playing like hands kind of badly against someone that might not be playing a conventional style because, what they're doing is weird, right? And I think I kind of fell into the trap here. I still think pre-flop and flop are okay, especially given like the people that I'm playing with. I think I'm going to realize my equity better pre, or post flop rather when I call pre. I think flop raising and calling are both fine options. I think the real problem in this hand is the turn, because I'm just dead versus the value range, right? Or versus the top of the value range, and then versus the rest of the value range, I'm in bad shape. So even if he's just like even if he's just doing some weird things going on, I still think it's a fold. Some people are going to say, Doug, you always defend your plays no matter what. You always say that they were right. Like, I've seen you make a bunch of questionable plays, and you just can't admit you're wrong. Look, I still think that certain plays that I do that are very questionable to like the average person. Like, I'm going to give you two examples, right? I think the Alec Torelli, when he had pocket jacks, I still think 8-6 suited is a very reasonable bluff hand there, given my range. I think that it makes sense in terms of my removal. I'm still happy with how I played that hand, even though he had jacks and it failed, right? I still think that it was the right hand to pick there. I still think in that 25K, when Charlie Carroll had aces and we had eights, and we check raised, got it in, still think that was the right play. I think that those were the right plays, Okay. So where do we go from here? What's going on next? Well, today I'm going to be doing some stuff with Poker Night in America, which I'm pretty excited for. Can't say yet, but should be some good stuff. And then later this week, or June 2nd, later this week, going to be playing in the one drop. So it's a 100K tournament. Have a little chance for some redemption, a deep run. The other thing is like, things have been going really well for me lately. Obviously, I won that party poker tournament. Cryptocurrency's been crushing. Some of my other investments have been doing great. So like financially, I'm doing like, I guess, like the best I've ever done in my life. Well, I was 2 days ago until this. So even though I lost, and I lost a lot of money, it's one of those things where I can't really feel that upset, right? Because so many things are going well in my life that that's part of the game. You gotta take your losses as they come. So I'm still excited to be here. Still excited for the summer. Hopefully the one drop bears fruit compared to this event, and I'm going to try to just play my best and go from there. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. Real inside look at the Super High Roller Bowl. Hope you guys like this. We're going to keep doing some vlogs. Hit that subscribe button. Join the empire. I'll see you guys later.